Okay. Wow, that's awesome.
I mean,
I don't know.
It doesn't happen
I
very
don't know.
often.
Wow.
Nice little perk. It's nice.
I'm thinking about going down just to the bottom goat like David. I don't think I got the head shape for it, but that's what I'm
Have
kind of
this
after,
enormous,
Well-
like bald patch right here, so it always looks like no matter what, even if I get fully in, it's just missing right there.
Exactly. I have basically the rest of my face is a bald patch except for right here.
So you're
A
automatically
tuft.
Hootie and the Blowfish, no matter what. That's where you stand.
Yeah, if I had like dreadlocks, I'd be
And
like
a
right in the
blowfish.
1996 and just like give me an acoustic guitar playing. I wanna hold your hand.
If you have full
Wow.
dreads, you could literally pretty much be the what's it called, the DJ from Zoolander.
Oh, nice.
It was
Did you just pull an actual Hootie lyric out for that joke?
Yes.
I think you did. Yeah, of course you did. He's a musician.
We do not play here at the in
I'll mess
crowd with
around
our
with
Hootie
my-
and the Blowfish references.
Uh,
Oh, what's
all right.
up?
All right, everybody. I got to just stop you from having fun because we have to talk about all this great stuff that's happening on the stream right now. Okay.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the In Crowd. We play D&D 5e here. We love characters. We also have some mechanics, but we're leaning more into narrative and having a good time improvising. This adventure is going to be set on the Isle of Burdea. It is a land rife with untamed wilds, ancient mysteries, and strange dangers. But before we jump into that adventure, I got to talk about all this sweet stuff that's happening right now. I just want to say thank you to our followers and our subs, and a special shout out to Gamershark420, dope name, by the way, for the bits and the subs and the tier 1 subs. We see you. We see you, Gamershark420. And Steph up, you're dope too. All of these gifts, all of these
Step
things.
up your life.
We got people in my ear right now telling
All that
us
beer, y'all.
that we're lucky to be here for you because you are here lifting us up. So thank you. Thank you so much. If we get 5 more sub points, all of you subscribers will have access to the croissant emote, which we might have just unlocked anyways with the gift sub. So if that's the case, enjoy it. Spam that shit into chat. Okay. That's enough, right? Let's play some D&D. Okay. Let's roll. Fade in. Tavern. Frothy mugs of ale. Laughing. Cheer. Dice rolling for coin. It all halts as the cartographer and the real ferret and a group of toughs smash in through the entrance of the tavern. The cartographer points a bony finger at you towards the entire group, but maybe Jer in particular, and says, "Those are the ones who stole my map. Kill them. Kill them all up." Roll for initiative.
Oh crap.
To be clear, there's 7 toughs. They're all going to act on the same initiative so as not to belabor this.
That's a
They did
14 for
okay.
me, Jesse.
Ooh, what's your dex modifier,
as well.
Naomi?
It is. Oh, that's a 19.
Oh.
You're probably going to be close to the top.
Boom.
Anybody beat a 19?
25.
Of course.
I have no idea. I must have magical digital dice. They're ridiculous.
Initiative's based on dexterity, man, and you're dexterous. Argus.
14 in the middle of a pint.
Okay. The
Fighting
toughs will be acting after you.
Oh, they better.
And Triss,
19 as well.
also good. Okay.
Damn.
Okay. I'm going to have you go after Naomi. Okay. Eurotran, you're up. This group, there's 7 in total. They're carrying, you see some clubs. They look rough hewn with some metal studs poking out of them, knives, swords, maces. They're not messing around. These look to be like your average mercenaries who've probably been hired to kill you. And they are now advancing into the tavern, pushing some of the waitresses out of the way, kicking over some of the chairs. The crowd parts, backs up towards the wall, and is trying to get out. But these toughs are advancing. Iratran, what do you do?
It sounds like it's pretty narrow in there, so I'm going to go ahead and charge and swipe for the first guy's throat.
Okay, roll for it.
Feeling good. Don't even look. 17.
That's going to hit. Roll for damage.
Oh, man. 11. 11.
Okay. You slice so deep, you feel the sword hit bone, and the tough falls backwards in a fountain of blood. There's a moment where this bar fight has turned into something much more, and everyone inside starts screaming and climbing, trying to get out. Some of them are pushing back through the kitchen. Some of them are trying to get out the windows, and everybody's scattering. I believe you have a second attack. That tough is down. There are 6 remaining.
You guys still want to go? Let's go again. I'm going for the next one with a short sword, thrusting. I'm going to go for his eyeball.
Oh, swing it, man.
17.
That hits. Roll for damage.
Oh, man. How's his eye? 7.
Okay. That is a hefty blow, but he's still standing. I feel like Iratran's really setting the tone for this Robert Rodriguez film that's about to start happening. So he plunges his short sword into the fellow's eye, and there is a spray of blood. That fellow is now swiping blindly with the mace, but it is not his turn, which brings us to Naomi. You've just seen Iratran
Oh my God.
in a single stroke cut down one fellow in the throat and just plunge a short sword into another's eye. What would you like to do?
Okay, I guess I'm gonna hop up onto the table, pull my boomerang, and just try to freaking bean one of them across the brain pan.
Sure. Did you want to shout anything as you were throwing the boomerang?
You're gonna pay for this, Popo!
Roll
All
for
right.
attack.
That's a 15.
That's gonna hit. Roll for damage.
Okay. That is an 8.
Okay. Were you attacking the one that just got eyeballed, or are you attacking? a
No,
fresh
different
target?
one. Different one. Got to get a spread going.
He's already had enough.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your boomerang. This thing comes back to you.
Yeah. It always comes back to me, and it's awesome. It's the best
Okay.
boomerang ever.
You said you did 8 damage.
Yes.
This cracks the fellow in the side of the head, and he flips over the side of the table, but you see that he's still crawling back towards his knife. And the boomerang snaps back into your hand. Triss.
Well, I'm going to look at Jer and say, stolen map. And then I'm going to run over to one of the toughs. I'm going to say, going to apologize for this, and I'm going to climb on his back, and I'm going to cut the belt to his breeches so his pants go around his ankles, and then I'm going to take his tunic and flip it over his head.
Okay. I think this is just going to be a grapple. So this is going to be a strength check.
Ooh. Okay.
You are so muscular.
13.
Okay. That is going to do it. I didn't think it would. All right. So you get up there and you flip around the back of him, pull his tunic over Happy Gilmore style, and cut the strap to his trousers. He then jumps backwards, unable to see, and smashes you into the wall, dealing 1 subdual damage. But you have a hold on this fellow, and he will be restrained. That brings us to Arcus.
While drinking my pint, I recognize that one of these thugs is farther away than the other ones. I'm going to cast Thorn Whip on him. Right now.
Okay.
Oh, it's a 9.
That's not going to do it. But tell us what your Thorn Whip has. An interesting. It's water, right? It
My
is a
Thorn
whip
Whip
of
is-
water.
My Thorn Whip is a line of water, like a lasso of water that comes shooting out.
Okay. It slashes this fellow in the face and then disperses. You're unable to hold the magic. And so the water sprays around him. You did not quite pierce his AC.
I was
but
thinking
Quench his
my pint.
thirst.
But it quenches his thirst. He licks his lips and then pulls a second dagger and approaches you, Argus. This is going to be the first of the toughs.
Oh well then.
He's going to miss. He only rolls a 7. He lunges with the daggers forward and trips over one of his friends who was just knocked sideways. 2 of them are going to go and try and help their friend who is being grappled by Triss. One swings a mace and misses. He also rolls a 6. But the second one, with a short sword, does manage to pierce, I believe, your armor. This is going to be a 21, Triss. You're on mute.
What would you like me to do?
What is your AC?
Oh, my AC is a 15.
That's going to hit. This fellow plunges a short sword, and it just gets through the armor in your midsection and deals 6 damage.
Holy shit.
You are now bleeding into this fellow's back as you have his tunic wrapped over his head, and there's a short sword with another, and there's still 2 on you.
I have
that is
3
going
hit
to
points
be-
left, FYI.
Oh, I hope there's a healer in the crew. There is 3 more living guys. 2 of them do not look very good. One of them is going to go after Naomi. This is the one who caught the boomerang in the side of the head. He's coming for a little vengeance. That's a crit. So
Okay.
he's got a cudgel. It's one of those rough-hewn clubs with the iron sticking out of it. I'm rolling this d6 twice. The first one was only 2, so you're lucky.
Okay.
And a 3 plus 1. So that's going to be 6 damage.
Okay. We were back up to full whatever, right?
I think that whatever...
Okay.
Yeah, whatever
Okay.
happened, you would have had a night in between in which
Okay,
you
great.
rested. Yeah.
Okay. So now I'm
He
at
just
2.
pop hits you with the cudgel.
Ooh, okay. Oh, my noggin.
And the last one approaches Iratran a bit timidly because he is missing an eyeball. He's still swinging blindly, trying to just
Strongly
back
suggest
up.
you go away.
I'm actually going to have him roll at
Yes, you go away.
disadvantage. Okay, that ain't going to do it. It's only a 9. He cannot seem to find you as the blood is covering his face, which brings us to the top of the order and Iratran.
I feel bad. He lost an eye.
Just then, he smashes his cudgel into the thigh of one of the waiters, who screams and he says, "Out of the way!"
Oh, wow. Okay, well, now he's just hurting random people. So I'm going to go for the other eye. Short sword style.
Okay, roll it.
15.
All right. That is going to do it. Roll for damage.
It sucks, but bye-bye, eyeball. 7.
You blind him, but it is unnecessary because he crumbles to the ground in a heap. I believe you have one more attack with the scimitar.
All right. Damn. I'm gonna go for that guy. I'm gonna go for the guy behind me who went for Naomi with a club. I'm gonna go for his back with the scimitar, doing like this nice little arc action. Have you ever seen like
okay.
Chun-Li, but not upside down?
Okay, the spin.
Yes.
Like, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
13. I was getting too fancy.
That just does it. Roll for damage. These guys are wearing like a mishmash of self-sewn leather armor. It's not great. It just provides a little protection. When Triss, you stab through it, you could feel that they didn't have much going.
I feel bad for this guy because what little he did got 10 damage for that.
Yeah. Okay. Naomi, there's a blur through the air, and then the fellow attacking you crumples to the ground, and Iratran is standing behind him holding 2 blades covered in blood, 2 eyeballs shish kebabbed on the short sword. Naomi, it is your turn. There are currently 3 people left. One of them is attacking Argus. not doing a great job, and 2 of them are trying to pull. Sorry, there are 4 people left. 2 of them are trying to pull off the one that Triss has hockey jerseyed.
Okay. All right. How close am I to the cartographer and ferret?
The cartographer and the ferret are in the doorway. There is
Yeah.
a sea of people. If you think about how much time has elapsed, it's only been about 18 seconds. And so there's just this stream of people trying to get out the front door, pushing them back. In between you and them, there is this carnage and the living toughs. So they're a bit farther away. All of the guys are within reach.
Got it. Okay. Well, I think I'm just gonna grab a tankard off of the table and
Okay.
just like koala jump onto one of the guys that's messing with my gal Triss over here and just start beating him over the head with the tankard.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're going to go improvised weapon. You're just going to roll a d20 and add your dex.
Oh, Christ. Okay, that's a 13.
That is just going to do it.
Okay.
Roll a d6 and add your strength.
Okay. Boop. That's a 4.
All right. This is on one of the guys that it's attacking Triss?
Yeah.
Okay. You koala jump onto the one who just shoved a spear into her, or a sword into her side, and smash this tanker into his head, dealing a little bit of damage.
Not today, Satan.
Not today, Satan.
Not
Which
my
brings
rogue.
us to Triss.
All right. Well, that got very serious very quickly.
Very quickly.
I'm still on the back of the guy, right? Like,
Yes.
all right. Can I?
They're your size, so I kind of saw it more of like a cool flip over, but you've got some feet on the ground with the jersey over the head.
Oh, all right. Then I'm going to pull out my rapier. I'm just going to stab the guy that's next to me.
Okay. The one with the jersey over his head or the other one?
No, I'm not worried about the one with the jersey over his head. I'm worried about the one that actually did damage to me.
Okay. The guy with the jersey over his head is technically restrained, which is something that may be worthy of noting. When someone is restrained, you get advantage against them when you are attacking.
Oh, I do.
You do.
But who's left? So
There's just 2 guys fighting you, Jersey Boy, and then Argus's friend who's got a wet face.
Well, I could go for the one that's restrained and hope that the one that's behind me doesn't get me on his turn, because otherwise I could be dead.
You could.
All right, I'll do the one with the advantage. Let's do it. It's a 25.
That's very good. You can roll damage now.
Oh,
And no, it was 19, and the damage is 7.
Okay. The one in the jersey, you stab through the fabric and you see blood blossom into it as he slumps down and is no longer moving on the floor. Which brings us to the toughs. We're going to start with the one who is still fighting. Oh, shit. Argus, you better do something good.
Oh, yes, I will. As I've wet-faced this one right here.
And he's still like, ugh, this water's so slimy and magical.
I know, isn't it? And I realize, oh, we're in a fight right now. I look over at Triss and I see the fact that she's gotten kind of gutted a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I run over and I just kind of like, I still have my tankard in my hand. And I kind of walk over to her and just pat her on the back and go, "You're doing a great job." And I cast Cure Wounds on her.
All right. Roll
You're
it.
an angel.
I think you just roll the health.
I do. She gets 5 hit points back.
Triss, you get 5 hit points back.
Oh my god, I feel so much better.
And then I walk right back over to the guy whose face I wetted and go, "Ale? It has lemon in it."
He watched you do this because he'd kind of been coming back around and was a little disappointed that you'd walked away. But when you come back, he smiles and says, "All right, let's finish it." And he's going to attack you.
Okay then.
But that is only going to be for 11.
Yeah. Well,
How's
too
that
bad he
suit you?
missed.
He just can't see. He's like, seriously, I'm usually better at this. There's just this slimy magical water in my eyes.
It does that.
There is still the ones that are next to Triss, but one of them has a gnome on his back who he is going to try and hit at disadvantage because she's clinging to him. That's probably not going to do it. Okay, that is going to be a 10 total. So that's going to miss. Jersey Boy is no more. But there is one person who is going to be trying to attack you, Triss.
Oh, well, at least I got those hit points back. Thank God.
That is going to be a dirty 20. I'm going to just assume I'll be rolling damage.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That is going to be for 4 damage.
I would have died. Thank you so much, August.
What did I do?
This guy's uninjured, right? Because Naomi's on the other guy and smashing the thing into his head. Jersey Boy's dead. So this fellow is the one who has already stabbed you. He pulls the knife back out and just plunges it in again and deals some more damage. I feel like Portuock's taking on a new meaning for you, Triss.
It's not the way I'm used to it, honestly.
Have you ever been in a fight like this before?
No, that's why
Have you
I
ever been this
pantsed
close
him.
to death? Okay.
No. It's exhilarating, honestly.
Okay. That brings us back to the top of the order and Irritran.
Oh, what fun. I saw that guy stab this total stranger, but we're now working together. So I'm going to go ahead and attack that guy with my scimitar.
Swing it.
Swinging. 16.
He's a blur. He's just spinning through the bar, hopping from other people's fights and finishing them up. Roll damage.
Oh, man. 7.
All right, that is a hefty blow. You actually cut the armor off of this guy and it falls away and slits, and he is now bleeding out of the wound in his chest, but he is still up. I believe you have a second attack, Irritran.
Well, do you want to finish the job or shall I? I don't think you're ready, princess. I'm going to go with my short sword and stab him.
I'm not a princess, FYI, thanks.
Sure, 25.
Don't get
That'll do it. Roll damage.
11.
Okay. He crumples at your feet, Triss, and spills quite a bit of blood onto your boots. Which brings us to Naomi. You are still on the back of one of these goons. He's swinging up, trying to hit you, but has not managed to yet.
Okay. Well, I think is the tankard still intact? Was it metal or glass?
I think it's metal, and it probably dented, but is still in your hand.
Oh boy, I just don't want to. I don't want to kill this guy necessarily, but man, he's a jerk. Okay. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna just drop like to right behind him and then pull my dagger and just go for a hamstring.
Okay. Swing it.
God. Okay, that's a 5.
Okay, that's not gonna do it.
No.
You do get through the pants, and when you pull it away, you can see that there's now this. I just keep wanting to make a reference that's like not in D&D. I was gonna make this guy a trumper, but he's not gonna have a tattoo of a trump on him. But
Change my mind. I stab him in the ear.
Just trying to make it easy for you. No, you just cut his pant leg, and he twists in time to see that the fight might actually be with you, exposing his back to Triss. Triss, it is now your turn.
I'm pulling out my short bow. I'm going to shoot an arrow right at his back.
Okay. You will need to step back so as not to suffer disadvantage, but this might be a time in which you want to like hop up on the table, like Neo Seraph fight circa Matrix Reloaded?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Triss bounds up onto the table, drawing her short bow and dropping her rapier in the process, and she fires.
It's the 26. It was a natural 20.
Oh, well, that's going to be a crit. Please roll double damage.
Yes. See, not a princess. Uh, 9.
Okay.
Damage.
So Naomi, you drop off this person's back and then try to cut him. It cuts his pants and he turns and grabs his leg and brings his hand up to see that there isn't any blood on it. And then he goes and coughs blood onto his hand. And when he falls backwards, you see an arrow poking out of the front of his neck. And he falls onto the floor. And Triss is standing there with a bow in her hand behind. Which brings us to Argus.
How's Wetface doing?
He's very frustrated. He's suffered no damage and has dealt no damage in an otherwise brutal encounter. He's now actually backing up a little bit, trying to get his corner to the wall his back to the wall because he can see that all of his friends are down. He looks back towards the cartographer, actually. Somebody roll insight. Everybody can see this guy. Anybody who cares, roll insight.
I will take that thing right.
Argus, 17 will do it. You can see that he's deferring to the cartographer, probably asking for permission to retreat. But the cartographer gives a little wave of the finger, and the fellow turns to advance on you with the daggers.
Oh. So it's like that, huh? Enjoy more water to the face. Thorn whip.
Roll it.
This one's another 9. What is going on here?
That's not gonna do it, Argus.
Even the face of water.
It's this time he holds his hand up and slaps it away, and the water disperses. And then he lunges at you. That is going to be a 22.
Oh, that's gonna hit me. Yeah.
That's only going to do 2 damage, but then he surprises you by swinging that second dagger.
Oh my.
That is also going to be a 22.
Well then, that's gonna hit too.
This one, the first one catches your attention and you are able to deflect it, which is why it doesn't deal much damage. He plunges the second one up under your ribs and deals 7 damage to you, catching you completely off guard as you start to bleed through your tunic. That brings us to, sorry, yes?
I am bloody as heck, and I'm still trying to enjoy my beverage.
You take a sip and the ale dribbles out your wound. Eurotran,
real.
You spin away from the bloody path that you've cut through this tavern in time to see one of these brawlers make a dirty feint and then plunge a dagger into Argus's side. What do you do?
Oh, I just run with as fast as I can, like this, like kind of elven speed.
Okay.
And I'm going underneath him. I'm going to do like a downward slash up with the scimitar.
Okay, roll it.
10.
He manages to, with his free dagger, turn in time to slap your blade away. I believe you have a second attack.
I do. I think I was just frustrated. We're going short sword. I'm going to stab him in the foot so he gets like planted in a spot.
Okay.
23.
That'll hit. Roll damage.
11. I really messed up the foot.
It just so happens that these guys all have 11 HP. So
I wanted to leave him alive. I legit did.
He gets like
you are welcome
sepsis
to.
immediately.
You are welcome to.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and that thing where I would have killed him, I'm basically chopping a leg off, it seems.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, at any point, if you're dealing fatal damage, you can revert it to subdual. And so you do basically knock this guy unconscious from the pain and the shock when you plunge the sword through his foot into the bar floor. With his screams that end in a slump of unconsciousness, you turn in time to see the cartographer and the ferret fighting their way through the crowd, which is now really trying to get the hell out of this place, and making their way back to the streets. You are now out of initiative.
All right.
What would you like to do?
I think we need to heal everybody up, but Argus, heal everybody. I'm gonna go find them.
Okay.
Okay.
Iratran, as you get to the door, it takes you a bit of time because there is still a bit of ruckus and spilled furniture and people trying to fight their way out and guards trying to fight their way in.
Yeah.
You get there just in time to see the cartographer closing the door on a carriage and the ferret jumping up onto the back seat as it is plodding down the cobblestones and disappearing into the night.
Lucky. I go back inside the bar and check on my friends. Well,
Your
my
friends are
some strangers.
Your friends are feeling it, dude.
I'm gonna cast Goodberry and hope that I get something out of this. Let's see here. That was a one. That's a D8. Was that correct?
Yeah. No, D10 plus wisdom.
And gotcha. Someone roll me a D10.
I can.
Oh, wait,
I can.
Oh, no, I can do it. My bad. No. There it is.
You didn't want my roll.
Yeah.
9.
Okay, so you get the full 10.
Who wants berries? And I just take 5 for myself and just go.
Wait, we actually need to address something about Goodberry. I find it funny. You will find it slightly restrictive. Because Goodberry makes you feel like you get an entire day's worth of food with one berry. When you eat one, you feel very full. You can eat up to 2 a day, but when you do, you got a food baby, and you're going to have disadvantage on dexterity checks or anything that uses dexterity as its thing.
Oh,
it.
no.
2 berries, food baby, fine with it.
So everybody can eat up to 2 good berries and heal 2 HP. You have enough to do that, and you'll still have 2 left over, Arcus. So everybody's welcome to do that. All right, now here's what I'd like to do. All right, so here's what I want to do.
Fat with only 3 hit points of health.
This brawl would not necessarily need to be punished. When the guards come in and they start questioning people about what happened, it's clear that there was provocation because somebody stole something from someone else. However, hiring people to murder other people is not necessarily cool. So, the guards at the end of their shift, because it is, if you remember, quite late in the night, and Naomi is pretty drunk, are not necessarily worrying about trying to do paperwork, I guess is the thing. And so as long as they, we'll do the scene. The like leader of the guard basically comes over to you and says, I've talked to all the witnesses, and it seems like everything is settled down. Now, I'm willing to just let this go if I have your word that you're not planning to go looking for any kind of retribution. If this can end now, I don't see any need for us to make it official.
I can tell you I'm not planning on seeking retribution.
I can tell you I don't even know how to plan anything.
I think that I know what you mean. He's looking to you, Iratran, and he says, in the same way that I would not appreciate any of you going to look for trouble, I would not appreciate anyone else coming to find it with you. You have my word that we will do our best not to allow this to happen again.
I don't think they want it to happen again. If you look around,
it is horrible in here. It's I know we're having a good time. It's horrible in here. And the bar is being closed and you're all kind of being unofficially asked to leave.
Oh wait, sorry, quick question. The one dude with what I'm assuming is a half a foot. Is there any way I can do we get to ask him questions? I want to interrogate this guy.
The guards are seeming to not be cool with the word interrogation. So they are carrying this fellow out and putting him into a similar carriage to the one you saw already leaving. It seems like he will be spending the night in a less savory place than than all of you will be, because he is going to need to explain why his tools for trade are murder. But he is being let out. So this is the way I see it. You guys just wrecked shop and also did a little business yourself. Jer has a place that you can crash. You have a map that just happens to be stolen, Naomi, and then also kind of an idea of what you're going to do. And so I want to take a second. I think that the scene fades out on you all leaving as the crowd is now regathering to see like, whoa, what's going on over here? And everybody's gathering outside the bar, but nobody's allowed in. And I think, unless there's any objections, Jer would bring you all back to his place, the Jer house on the roof of the warehouse, and offer you a drink and a place to crash.
Jer can have the other two good berries. He can have a berry belly as well if you'd like.
Oh, really? Where was he in the fight?
Actually,
Yeah,
Jer
that guy doesn't do anything.
He never left the table. In fact, he's kind of shaken up by the brutality that was displayed. And so while he's just being a nice host, he's not necessarily jazzed about what happened, and also even more so now set in his decision to not necessarily go on this adventure with you. He's not upset with you guys or anything. He just I don't think he's seen anything like that before. That shit got out of control fast. Iratran was poking guys' eyeballs out.
To be fair, they walked in literally trying to kill us.
Oh yeah, they were going to kill you, and they would have poked your eyeballs out. It's just a freaked out Jer. And so he pours everybody a drink. Now, just DM to players. Let's just take a second here. The stars are out. It's a quiet night in Portuak now that everybody who's been causing trouble has been murdered, and everybody's just hanging out in the Jer house, having a drink. I just want to take a moment here because you all have a plan now. From what I can gather, you're going after the Silver Shade Nightingale, and you have a map to get you there. If you acquire this thing, it will get you access into the Last Oak Inn. I just want to take a second so that I can kind of put my feelers out there and know what's in your heart of hearts, to go around Robin and just kind of see why exactly you'd like to get entrance into the Last Oak Inn. We know why you want the Silver Shade Nightingale, because it'll get you in the bar. But I want to know why your character wants to get into the bar. And so I'm just going to go around. I'm going to start with you, Naomi.
Sure. Well, my friend Popo has borrowed a priceless treasure from me. Popo, we have discovered, is inside the inn, and I'm trying to get in, find him, get my treasure back.
Yes, it seems like maybe he's not allowed to leave the inn or something like that. We don't know what the situation is with
That
Popo,
would not
but
surprise me one bit.
Okay. All right. How about you, Triss?
Well, getting into the Last Oak Inn would prove my worth. Well, outside my mother being the Baroness of Northcliffe.
Okay. A way to separate yourself from the expectations and overshadowing of your family.
Right.
How about you, Argus?
Oh, well, the Duskwell told me that I have to help Iratran. I really don't know why. it said it's TBD, whatever those letters mean. So I'm basically just helping the high elf that I found in the desert, half dead.
Okay.
Right?
Uh,
Quiet. Sorry.
and Eartrin?
I'm trying to get a badge so I can get on that gallant ship with those royals, and then I'm chasing down the Venger to get vengeance. Fitting enough.
Okay.
Ooh.
You heard that unless you were going to go all the way through officer training, you needed a badge from the Last Oak
the
Inn in
Last
order to
Oak
get
Inn.
onto the Gallant. And
Yeah,
the Gallant is
the adventure.
currently hunting the Venger. Okay, cool. All right. So for the most part, the party is from out of town. There's not much stopping three of you from just picking up and going on this adventure. However, Beatrice, you are the daughter of the Baroness, and you can't just disappear for days on end. You will need to come up with something. And because I am a cruel DM, I'd like to cut to the next morning and see where we're at. Okay. This is the next day. I think everybody else is waiting for you at the Jer house, just chilling. Beatrice, your manor boasts generations of matriarchal class and vision. Your grandmother, Vespertina, selected all the drapes. The couch upon which you sit was crafted by your grandfather, Minotone, as a gift to woo her. The history of your family lies in every piece of furniture, every place in this house, and every purchase. But despite all the comforts, it feels hollow, and you wonder if you'll be more than a decorative remembrance to lounge and impress the future generations that you're expected to spawn. The mint tea is hot, yet chills run down your spine as you set it down and stare into your mother's expectant eyes. So, Beatrice, what exactly would you like to talk to me about? You can see that she's looking at your dress. Near the stitching on the front, you can see that despite your best efforts, there is a little bit of blood that is starting to bleed through the fabric.
Oh, knitting needle got me. Well, I've been invited to stay with well, do you remember Jean-Luc and his lovely wife? I ran into
Yes.
them when I went on the ride with Buttons. I don't remember his name, I'm sorry. But when I went on the ride,
Sir Botten Buttenberg.
right, that's it. Anyways, I ran into Jean-Luc and his wife and they invited me to stay. And I think it would be really good for me to get out and see the people and get to know people. They mentioned, he has a nephew that's single, that has lots and lots of money. So I think maybe it would be a good idea for me to go stay with them just for a couple of days.
I want you to roll deception. No. I'm just gonna make you play the scene instead. Your mother takes a moment to compose herself and takes a sip of mint tea, and then says, Jean-Luc and the ambassador have asked you to go and stay with them.
Yes, I met their dog too. Really, really cute.
Yes, I'm sure. Look, Beatrice, I have no love lost for Botten Buttenberg. I find him to be absolutely dreadful, as I imagined you would as well. Again, I'm only asking you to give these people a chance, but if we are going to devote this time to finding someone whom you do enjoy, I was hoping we wouldn't be tempting fiancés. Jean-Luc is spoken for,
I'm
Beatrice.
not
I've seen the way
interested
you
in
look at
Jean-Luc other than a friendship. Also, that's his fiance, not his wife. They were very weird about it when they talked about it.
In what way?
I don't know. I was like, oh, this is your wife. And they both at the same time said fiance, like it was a bad thing or something. I don't know.
That is, I imagine, incredibly uncomfortable. Look, be that as it may, I think perhaps it might be a good idea for you to go.
Yes, thank
But-
you so much. I promise I'll be the most obedient daughter when I get back. Just promise me I can meet other people besides Buttons, please.
What is the name of the nephew, the cousin that you said was very wealthy and you were expected to meet?
Oh, I believe his name was Gustav.
Gustav, and his family name?
Cumberbutton.
Gustav Cumberbutton. Now, I am a bit rusty, but I cannot recall that name.
Apparently
Darling?
he studied abroad.
She calls to the side and says, "Dear, would you come in here for just a moment? I simply must access that encyclopedia between your ears." And your husband, or sorry, not your husband, your father, her husband enters and says, "Yes, what is it?" And she says, "Darling, have you heard of anyone named Gustav Cumberbutton, the Cumberbutton family?" And the Baron says, "Oh, oh yes, Cumberbutton. Oh yes, I believe I spent a summer at their place. Yes, the Cumberbuttons, of course. I haven't met Gustav, but if he's their son, it doesn't surprise me."
Right, see? I knew I could count on you, father. So
Excellent.
it's all right then.
Yes, and your mother says, "Sure, I think that maybe we will write and try to set something up."
Oh, they already said that I could come tomorrow morning. So they were going to send a carriage for me and I was supposed to meet them at the lookout spot because they wanted to I can't remember actually why we were going to meet there, but that's where we're going to meet. So I've got it all taken care of. You don't have to do anything.
Oh, Beatrice, I wouldn't want to disrupt any of your plans, especially if you'll be leaving so soon. I just think that a formal address from your father and I stating our availability would not be all of that bad, and then we can send it on ahead, and when they arrive, you'll be able to make sure everything is set up.
Okay. All right.
Wonderful. I'm sure that Gustav Cumberbutton cannot wait to meet you.
Well, I certainly cannot wait to meet him.
I think there's a little bit more chit chat. You're plied a little bit for information on Gustav Cumberbutton, but nothing too bad. Your mother looks several more times to the. It's a small amount of blood that is staining your dress. Would you say anything?
No, just can you have Eliza bring up the bandages and maybe some disinfectant?
Beatrice?
Sorry. I'll clean the dress. I'll get it out, I promise.
Okay. And you are excused so that Eliza can come and tend to your wounds. All right, you've got a pass there, Beatrice. You will be able to go on your little adventure, but I believe you will be expected in the capital to meet the Cumberbutton family. Okay, so here's what's up. I want to give you guys just a second if you need anything. You are all in Portuak. I believe Beatrice, Triss, you would meet up with the group at the Jer House. You're in a town, so just assume any simple necessities that you would need, you can get. They won't be expensive. Rope, rations, etc. We don't need to do a shopping trip. But if there's anything in particular that you would like for this adventure as you move towards the cursed swamp, now is your opportunity. Otherwise, we're going to roll into a little bit of a travel montage. Any other preparations you want to make?
Is there a maybe like an apothecary, maybe some basic, Neosporin level healing salves would be useful.
Yeah, here's what we can do. So potions are expensive, so I don't know that you guys does anybody have like what's the most gold anybody? Okay, so I'm gonna get you guys, you can get, I think they're called medicine kits. Yeah. Healer kits will help you stabilize people at 0 hit points without having to roll any dice. So if you're in a pickle, you can get those. I'm gonna say it'll be 1 gold a pop, and they have 5 total. Would you like any of them?
Yeah, I'll snag one for sure.
Okay, you got a healer kit.
I'll take one.
All right.
I'll take one.
Very important.
Okay.
I have no need for such bizarre non-magical things.
My dude. Okay, so Jared takes you to the edge of Portuak. You're actually going to be moving towards Northcliffe, and the wall, Iratran and Argus and Naomi, that you saw when you were coming in, the big wall that separates Portuak from the rest of Northcliffe. Triss, you know it well. It is a constant hindrance to your adventures. And you head out on the road. You're going to be moving through pretty easy territory this first day. You're on the road. It's good weather. The sun's shining. The wind's at your back. Nothing's really going to bother you. And then you're going to make camp. I'm actually going to roll a dice here just to see. Your first night on the road passes without incident. You wake up the next day and head out. But it is obvious rather quickly as you near the fork that will take you to the southern road. Iratran and Argus, you actually heard mention of this road and saw a glimpse of it when you were coming from Erdecoa towards Portuak. You were told to stick to the northern road and avoid the southern. You guys now turn onto the southern road. And things start to change. One would think that it was the consistency of the grass or the decrepit nature of the plant life which indicated your arrival to Harraskarn. But no, it's a lone bird, drab in its gray feathers and terrifying with its elongated features, as if every part of its body was trying to run away from itself. With a heartfelt squawk, it laments at your passing. It doesn't move. It just stares at you with its all too human eyes, as if it knows horrible, horrible things that it refuses to share. The road continues into this less than ideal territory. Overgrowth and brambles more and more claim the road until it simply ceases to be. And all that's left is a dense mangrove forest and the eerie sense that in all this quiet, you are being watched. Iratran Argus, this most certainly is that place you were told to avoid. And as you check the map, it seems that you have arrived in Harraskarn. Anybody want to describe to me this map? Naomi, why don't you take a swing at this thing? Tell me what it looks like. You don't need to talk to me about the land masses, but you stole this from the cartographer. What are we talking about here? This is an item.
Yeah. So the map, I think, probably because of how dangerous it is to go into and almost impossible to come out of Harraskarn, I think has been like put together by several different people. So there's like weird little notes that's like, friend died here, probably don't go this way, and like smears of stuff and like different handwriting. So it's a little bit of a slog to just read the map itself, I think, because it's there's a lot of different experiences to interpret.
Okay. And are you the one who's got the map?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you keep it when you're not using it in that little locked
In
cylinder?
its little deal, yeah, like slung around like a quiver would be.
Okay. So what's the marching order here? Because we got Naomi on the map. Who's taking point?
I am.
Iratran is.
Yeah.
Argus, Triss, what are you two doing?
I mean, I've got an uncanny sense of time, so I can keep track of the sun and like our surroundings and what time it is. And yes, is that what you're
Okay.
asking?
Have you ever been outside of Northcliffe?
No.
Is this your first time this far on the road?
Yes.
How does it feel? I imagine that all of you have healed, by the way. I don't think that you're carrying your wounds. You've got a healer in the crew. He knows what to do.
Just walking around bleeding.
But besides that,
Catch on that.
what's going through your head as you enter this relatively terrifying part of the world?
It's not really terrifying for me. It's new and better than any of the drawings I've seen. And I think I don't even want to sleep because I don't want to miss anything. And kind of looking out for animals and creatures and finding it rather weird to have a group of people that we've just gone through the most insane thing together. And they don't know who I am and they still want me to be a part of their group. So it feels pretty good. I don't think the circumstances have really hit the danger yet. It feels still pretty much like an adventure.
Argus, how are you feeling?
This is my first time around plants in several years. I feel as if I am trying to figure out the difference between this swamp and my woodland traditional areas that I know about.
Okay. This part is not swamp yet. You can see on the map that the swamp happens deeper in, but I think Argus, because you are in tune with this, you can hear it like a whisper that deeper in these trees, which are starting to be kind of imposing as you go deeper and deeper into these woods, you can tell that there is something, a decay, a blight that is deeper in this place. And you would bet money that it is the swamp that's been spoken of. And while the ground here is a little soggy, this first part is just going to be it's a spooky woods, you know. As you're here getting in touch with nature, and Triss is starting to look around, and Naomi is looking at the map, and Iratran is being the only focused adventurer on the path ahead and hacking through the bramble. You do hear, coming from forward where you would think the path is, though there is no good path here, crashing through the wood. It sounds as though something is moving through the forest, and it's happening in stops and starts. There's a crashing and a stop, and a crashing and a stop. Iratran, what would you do? You're on mute.
Yeah, sorry. I think I would go for perception to see if I could see what's out there, or at least sense what's out there.
Sure, roll it.
Boom. 11.
Ooh.
Okay.
Rolls are
You
sharp.
take a moment to halt the group and step forward and stare into the bramble. You don't quite see anything when all of a sudden a figure lurches out of the bushes right in front of you and crashes into you. Everyone else, you see what appears to be a haggard, middle-aged man, filthy, just filthy, clothes in tatters, stumble out of the brush and catch himself on Iratran.
Oh, hey,
He's
look, you
breathing
found a
heavily.
friend.
I'm a little dirty now, I suppose.
You are. He's actually, it's like a wet filth. It's just like he's covered in mud. just like this thick clay-like mud.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and casually throw him off me.
Sure. He tumbles into the grass. You're in a bit of a meadow. He tumbles into the grass and then gets up onto his hands and knees and starts trying to crawl past you. He doesn't even seem to notice that you're all there. He's just trying to move as quickly as he can, which isn't very quickly, back the way that you'd come. And he's mumbling, "Gotta go. Gotta get out of here now. I gotta go."
I get on my hands and knees and crawl with him.
Okay.
Say, "Hello, stranger. Do you need anything for your travels? Perhaps we can help you out."
He stops for a moment and looks at you and says, "Water.
Oh,
Water."
I can help you with that.
What are the odds?
I'm gonna cast Create Water.
Sure.
Just like a little, like the same way I did before with Iritran. I'm gonna cast it as a little cloud that just kind of pours water onto him.
Sure. He gets a little bit and he drinks a little bit as much as he can and then uses it to kind of clean off his face. And you can see that he's not as old as you thought he was, but he looks exhausted. And he actually takes a moment now to sit and says, You're here to pull us out, right? You're here to save us."
Who are you?
"I'm Guile."
Nice to meet you, Guy. I'm Iritran. I don't even know who you are. What people are in there?
"Oh, there's no one left.
What
It's
happened?
just me."
Oh, there's us.
Yeah.
What happened?
I don't know. There was 12 of us, and we came in for the Nightingale, and we didn't make it. We didn't get close. I don't know what happened. I was so sad, and then they were all gone, and I heard them screaming, and then there was nothing, and then we have to go. If you're here to pull me out, I'm ready to leave. There's no one else.
We're going towards the Silver Nightingale.
No. He tries to get up. He pushes himself off of Argus and tries to grab your shirt. Says, "No, we were fools. We were fools."
Did you eat or drink anything from the land?
"No, we had rations, and we knew better than to drink the water of the swamp. But I lost my belongings, and
I'm gonna do some insight into this guy. I want to know who he is.
Okay.
Oh wait, wrong one. Haha. That was intimidation. Excuse me. Sorry.
Please don't
Poor
hurt me.
guy.
Like,
He's
hey.
been through a lot today.
I mean, I rolled a
Only you
one,
work
so
for.
it's not like he's too intimidated. I'm like, hey, you want some cotton candy? All right. 19, much more insightful.
Okay. He looks terrified. He doesn't look to be hiding anything. In fact, he starts to mumble to himself, and he says, "It was everything we heard was true. Everything we heard was true." And then he looks like he's about to be sick. And he actually crawls onto his hands and knees and starts to vomit. At first, it's just the water that was given to him by Argus, but then this stream of what looks to be the same clay and mud is just coming out of his mouth, and he just is vomiting this mud. And when he finishes, he stands up and he backs away and he says, I must go. Everything they said was true. We were fools. And he turns and is now walking away.
I look to my party. Well, that was a waste of a water spell.
So just in the interest of positivity, I want to point out that he did make it out. He came out of there, and
Well,
he's
that's all ain't bad.
yeah.
It's true.
Does
And-
anyone want to do the math on 1 out of 12? Oh wait, there it is. 1 out of 12.
Well, Iritran, they could still be in there. They might just be stuck. they could need our help.
You
What
might
came
be
out of his mouth? Was that a spell? Was that food?
Walk over there and roll investigation there, Triss.
You got it.
Oh, gross.
Argus, you trying to get in on this?
Oh yeah.
Jump in there.
13.
Roll again because Argus is going to give you advantage. When you guys work together, you get to roll more dice.
19.
Okay. Trish is talking about magic and all these things, Argus, so it brings you over and you start poking through this guy's puke. It's just mud, but there's a lot of it. You can't really imagine anybody voluntarily swallowing this much mud.
Tape water to pull the water from the dust or the dirt,
Mhm.
see if it comes out as actually water or if they're stuck together, like actually stuck together.
Oh, interesting. Roll Arcana.
Oh, okay. Arcana. 11.
Okay. So what happens is you feel a resistance when you're trying to separate the water and the mud, as though it's, even though they are two liquid substances, the feeling you get is an adhesive. When they do finally separate, there is just a whiff of that black smoke that you'd seen in the desert whenever the chaos creatures rose to your magic. This does not create anything, but you can see that somehow this, as soon as that is gone, this clay turns into a dry powder and the water separates. It's swamp water, but other than being icky, there's not much else to it. They seemed to be held together and hold more of a definite shape before you used magic to separate them.
Magical mud. Huh.
Do you think it's magical mud, August, or could it have been a spell to make him eat the mud, thinking it was something else?
That would be fun too. We only used magical mud for facials back in my tribe, but
Oh, really?
that too, yeah.
I might have to ask you for that recipe later.
Okay.
All right. We're not here for skincare, all right? Which, by the way, everyone looks great, so we don't need it.
Thank
Now, does anyone? I don't know. Argus, how much can you defend us from stuff like this? Or what's your you know, you got to do a lot of water stuff, which I'm loving, but what's your shield capacity here?
Oh, what's a shield?
Okay.
Argus,
Well,
remember that black smoke?
Yes. There was a whiff of the black smoke, which means that it's magical mud.
We've seen that before in the desert.
We sure
Yeah.
have.
great smoke in the
Oh.
desert.
But it's only every time we use magic, and then some creatures would appear. I've never seen it like this, where it just separated when he did the water.
Whoa. So if you use magic, you summon bad stuff?
When we use magic back there, when we use magic in the
Yes,
desert, it summoned those.
Wow, so we're running this full analog, huh? Okay.
To be clear,
What
the
about
experience that they're discussing was in the wasteland in particular. You've seen them cast, or you've seen Argus cast spells since without any problem.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
What that imaginary guy said.
So as you are done poking through this, you realize that the fellow who came out of the swamp is now gone. You can hear him crashing through the bramble, but he's definitely headed back towards the road and in a hurry. And the party moves deeper into the weird wood. Fog comes down gentle as dove wings and obscures the periphery of your vision. The wet feels good in your lungs, like you've been sucking in gin vapors all day and the burn is being quenched. Of course, when you realize it's the mist, you feel invaded, but there's nothing to be done of it. It's thick, palpable. You're fully in the forest's embrace, and the only way out is through. However, after less than an hour, you emerge from the forest. And you discover that you are right back where you started. You can see the pile of dried clay powder and the footprints of the fellow who crashed through. It's going to take a little bit more to get through this weird wood, obscured as it is with this fog, which seems to be contained deeper into the forest. I'm going to need somebody to roll a survival check to get us started.
I got a +4 on survival, so 22.
Nice.
Excellent. Iratran, how would you actually roll one more time? This is going to be at disadvantage.
16.
All right, still pretty good. How would you do it? You're taking the lead. You're charging into the weird wood. What are you thinking?
Can we see the sky, or is it completely fogged out?
Not only is the canopy thick here, the trees that you see like sentries in the fog are barren, except for the top branches, which are table-like in the canopy that they create. And the fog is thick. Though it is daytime, it seems far darker than it should be.
Is there any moss on the trees? I look for moss on the trees.
There's moss on the trees.
Okay, that'll tell us our direction. So I use the moss on the trees will point east, I believe, but I could be wrong. Well,
This
I
is
grew
your
up on-
world, man. You rolled a 16. You're talking about moss on trees.
Yeah,
If you
moss
want it to
on
be
the
east, it's east.
Moss is east now. In this world, it's eastward, and so we are
Okay.
gonna go.
Got it.
So based off of the path that we've carved thus far along this map that is clearly stolen, we're gonna have to go, I think, north.
Okay,
So-
cool.
Let's go.
Using the moss on the trees, Iratran leads the party for an hour. And at the end of that hour, you do not end up back where you started. You seem to be making progress. Would anybody like to help Iratran?
Yeah.
Sure. Both of you can together if you'd like. How would you like to do it? It
Could
can
I
be
u-
abstract. It doesn't need to be too hard and fast.
Right, I'd like to mark the trees that we go by just so we know that if we encounter one that has some kind of thing tied on it, that we've already been here.
Sure.
Just to kind of
Breadcrumbs.
reiterate that.
Argus, what are you thinking?
The trees.
You'd like to what?
I'm going to lick the trees
Okay.
to make sure that we are going past different trees. So if I see a different tree, I'm going to lick the tree to know that it is a different tree.
I
It's
do
an
like
old-
this.
It's an old wood elf thing that we
Sure.
used to
I feel like it has a lot to do. You're a druid.
Mhm.
You're also an elf.
Mhm.
I think that there is something here, but I just want a little narrative flavor. Tell me what this interaction with the trees does for you. Does it have a certain taste, a certain impression you're giving the tree? Is the tree giving you an impression?
Well, the first thing I do is I hug the tree all the way around the tree as much as I can, so I can. Get
We've all seen Superstar.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm trying not to metagame this. Yes. I'll hug the tree, and then I ask permission of the tree
Sure.
to potentially become one with the tree, and then I just lightly lick the tree, very
Okay.
casually. And with my many years of understanding different wood life and fauna and flora, I can tell whether I have licked this tree before or not.
Okay. This is really weird, but also very specific, so I enjoy it. Just make note of this. We will give you this strange ability to help find directions. While working together, you will not be rolling survival at a disadvantage. Whoever has the higher survival, please roll. Between Triss and Argus.
Ooh. What you
Mine.
got,
Oh,
Chris?
okay.
Well, what do you have for your survival?
It's not good. It's 9.
My survival's a +4, so.
Oh, I just
Roll it.
rolled. So It
Oh,
was
No, roll it,
terrible.
Argus. I think you got the higher one. I wouldn't.
You
I
can
wouldn't
beat
take that
9.
on a technicality.
that's all right. I made an 8, so either way, it's entertaining.
Oh,
Okay.
so 9 is the highest.
The little ribbons and the licking lead you back around until Argus embraces a tree and licks and knows for a fact he has licked this tree before. And Triss, you see that above his head, like a little mistletoe, is one of your little ribbons. Naomi, you want to get in on the action?
Yes,
you're all
please. Where's
welcome
that?
to-
Where's that depression bird? I want to go talk to him.
Oh, the depression bird has been following you as though it were mocking you.
Ooh.
Its squawks are forlorn and
Uh-huh.
prolonged, so it sounds like a dying rodent.
Yeah.
But it is in the trees above you now, almost chuckling as Argus kisses this tree.
Can you blame it? I mean, okay, well, yeah, if I can, I'd like to just sort of crawl up the tree and maybe have a little chat with Depression Bird.
All right, do it.
Okay.
You don't got to roll.
yeah.
You got time and you got friends to help you up. The depression bird flutters to the end of a branch that would be far too thin for you to accompany it on, but it is not leaving. It is just
Mhm.
out of your reach.
Okay. I guess, yeah, to what extent can I articulate things to woodland creatures? Is it sort of like getting a sense of things across, or
You can speak to them.
okay, great.
It's part of your gnomish shtick. It's why
Yeah.
you do so well in the funky woods that the gnomes inhabit.
Great. I love it. The Tulgey Woods. Okay, cool. Yeah, so hi. I mean you no harm. Please don't fly away. I just like to chat.
Do you not bow when you encounter royalty?
Oh, forgive me. And I do a sweeping bow.
The bird, let's call it a raven, because why wouldn't we? It does
Sure.
have patches on it that looks like it's been bleached. It seems to be some kind of fungus, like a blight, that is discoloring its feathers and is actually overgrown one of its eyes. But it does not seem unhealthy. It just seems pretty freaky. And it says, I recognize you, gnome.
You must forgive me. Although the gravitas of your presence is unmistakable, I do not know your name. My name is Naomi.
My name is Surefire, the Destructor.
Wow. That's a great name. I mean, I'm very impressed. Your Majesty.
So am I. Writing that down.
Well, as you can see by my my friend who is currently in an amorous entanglement with the tree we're sitting in, we're just doing our best to get through these woods, and we would love any guidance if you could point the way, or just just tell us, or what's we just would love to we're just going to the middle, just the straightest line between 2 points would be great.
You seek to enter Harraskarn proper.
We do.
Have you a map?
We have. Pull out the map, unroll it with a flourish.
Okay.
We acquired this through totally normal means involving a transaction that everyone agreed to, and it's really not a problem.
Excellent. I can tell by the look in your eyes that you're telling the truth. So, I ask you, what's in it for me?
Well, it seems that creatures that pass through this wood, hypothetical humans that recently stumbled out, for example, are afflicted with something that really leaves them in a bad way. It seems like some kind of mud earth affliction that just pours out of them in awful ways. Is this something that your people suffer from?
No. I do feed on the flesh of dead men. No. So if your bargain is to reduce my meals, I would choose another tactic. For I am not looking to cleanse these woods of anything.
I see. Have you been to the center of the woods? Have you been to the garden?
We no longer go to the garden.
Why?
No one goes to the garden.
Huh. What happened? Why does no one go there?
We're forbidden.
Oh,
All things must leave the garden be.
well, who could give orders to royalty such as yourself?
We need no orders. We know better. We know a prison when we see one.
A prison? Anyone currently in there by any chance?
The bird flutters its wings, and you can see some of the fungus leap off and then resettle in new patterns.
Have you always had this? Forgive me, but is this something that you do? All birds in the forest look like you?
No birds in the forest look as good as me.
Well, no, I did not mean to impugn, but I speak of the
The blight.
yes.
The blight is a natural occurrence, aggravated perhaps by some of the magics deeper in, but to us it is merely an inconvenience.
Well, an inconvenience is still an inconvenience. Maybe we could help you be rid of it somehow.
Tell me, gnome. I know of your people. They value things above others. Have you nothing shiny for this emperor of the forest?
I reach for my bag of marbles.
The eyes
And-
on the raven.
And just shake it a little bit, get that good dice bag sound.
Yes, 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 yes.
As it happens, I was lucky in an evening of games, and open the bag, and I draw out really nice tiger eye, really, really good one, good swirl right through it.
That will do, gnome. Give me a riding utensil. And the raven flutters over to you and lands on a branch. The blight again leaps off and then recombines to cover different portions of it. But it's motioning with one of its feet towards you and asks for a riding utensil.
Okay, I have one of those, right? I dig around for that one pen that's always in the bottom of your stuff from like a hotel or something. Pull it out.
The raven takes the pencil and crosses off some of the things on the map. It doesn't seem to be able to read any of the languages on it, but it's looking at it in that bird way, at some of the landmarks on it,
Yeah.
crossing it off, maybe circling it and moving that over, just kind of giving you a better idea, a more detailed, less abstract view of the swamp. And then drops the pencil on the map and reaches its other claw towards you for the tiger's eye.
Oh, great. Hand that tiger's eye right over. Happy to do it.
The emperor takes the tiger's eye, and then Surefire the Destructor says, I appreciate this, gnome, especially showing me where you keep your marbles. When I feed on the corpses of you and your friends through your crossing, I will know where to find the rest of them. And it alights and takes off and flies away, no longer following you through the woods.
You have a good talk with them?
Yeah, super reassuring. Really, really great guy. Very positive. We're totally gonna get out of here, and it's good. It's gonna be great.
Did he offer his help?
Yeah. Dropped down out of the tree. Well, it's a process of elimination, it seems, and it seems like we shouldn't go this way, and we shouldn't go this way, and this way also seems like a no. So you got more than we started with.
Is everybody huddled around looking at the map?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay. Working as a
Missing a tree.
group,
I don't know.
whoever has the highest survival may roll with advantage as the group studies the map together and attempts to move to the next leg of the journey.
And
Who's
it's
got
only
the
a plus
highest
3.
survival?
Shouldn't be me.
Wait,
I rolled a 7.
I'll roll.
Who's got the highest actual survival?
I got a +4 on mine.
Oh, you mean modifier?
I've got a -2.
I'm a
Oh,
plus
wow.
3, but I
Okay.
rolled a
Yeah, I
16.
don't know.
I think Argus and Iratran are both +4s. Why don't you each roll 1 dice and we'll take the higher?
I already did, and it was a 7.
You
That's
better
all
roll
right.
high,
Mine
Argus.
was a 23.
Okay, cool.
Boom, boom.
Using Emperor Surefire the Destructor's notes, you are able to follow the map through the weird wood and the fog and the sentry-like pale-barked trees. As the going gets tough, the ground gets muddy. You begin to pass into what you recognize as the beginnings of the swamp proper, the fated swamp of Harraskarn. Here, the trees are older and have carved out their territory, leaving much space between each other. Various fingers of streams gather and split, making a puddle of a river. A smell hangs in the air. Everything is decomposing, decaying, blighted. Globs of muck suck and sluice with every step. But you persist. The quest is clear. Trudge your way through to pluck a flower. So, what do we decide? Marching order was Iratran in front, everybody else kind of clumped in back. Okay, you guys head out into this swamp, picking the best path that you can, but that becomes more and more difficult. I need everybody to roll a will save.
What was that? A will save?
A will save. It'll be up under.
I don't see a will.
Neither do I.
Yeah, it's there's like 3 different kinds of saving throws, and I don't know exactly where D&D 5e does. Just roll wisdom, which is what it is based
Saving
off of.
wisdom. All right.
Saving wisdom.
12.
It'll be at disadvantage, by the way.
Oh,
As
no.
you feel, as you cross into the swamp, you do start to feel the last vestiges of your mood kind of being frayed. It seems to be playing with your body as well as your mind out here.
I have an advantage against being charmed. Is this a charm?
It is not a charm.
Okay.
You said disadvantage for this one, Jesse?
Everybody rolls at disadvantage.
Okay, that's a 7 for me.
Okay.
12.
Okay.
12 as well for Argus.
8 for me.
Okay. Argus and Triss, you are finding it a bit easier, though it's like a mental fatigue. It's almost a sadness is coming over you. You stop for a moment on some drier land and turn around to see that Naomi and Iratran are falling behind. And they are sinking into the mud a bit deeper. It's actually going up to Naomi's no. It's going up to Naomi's waist and Iratran's knees, and they are starting to slog through. What would you like to do?
Naomi, would you like me to put you in my bag for a little bit because it's so deep?
Oh, that would be awesome. I'm sorry. It's just going right through my pants. It's awful.
I know, it looks terrible. All right,
Thank you.
throw her in
Thank
my
you
bag.
so much.
Sure.
Here,
You're gonna have to cross
Put you
back
in
to
my
her.
bag for a little bit.
I appreciate the gesture, man, but I'll just suffer the need.
Thought that it made sense with the gnome. I could carry you for. I'm very very.
I think I'm 5 inches shorter than you.
Are you sure?
You guys are about, I'd say everybody's speed is 30, except maybe Naomi's 25. Yeah. So you're about a full move action away. If you're going to turn back around, Triss and Argus, to go and help your friends, you will need to make another wisdom save as you step back into the muck.
Disadvantage or regular?
At disadvantage.
Oh, boy. Oof, 6.
I'm not much better. I'm a 9.
As the two of you step off of the little embankment that you found, you plunge into the mud, and it too shoots up to your knees. And all 4 of you can start to feel yourselves sinking down into this. how would you like to proceed? You've got a couple options. You can keep trying to get together, or you could just try and power through. As of right now, you have Iratran, because you've been the bushwhacker of the group. Please roll perception.
Yeah. Perception. 18.
Okay. You are relatively certain of the direction that you came in, but the longer you're stuck in this mud, you can start to feel that certainty seeping away.
Oh.
As of right now, you know which way you were headed, but that's about it. You can't tell how deep in this swamp you are or how far you have left to go. There is fog here, but it seems to be accumulating towards the mud, making it harder for you to find your footing, and it is obscuring your vision less, though the foliage is quite a bit denser. There's vines now. They are covered in thorns. The blight that you saw on the raven, Naomi, is pockmarking some of the fallen trunks. Everything's sinking into the swamp.
Right.
Keep helping each other or power forward?
No, I think the best course of sorry, what were you gonna say?
I'm not leaving Naomi to try to wade through this, so I'm going to get her.
I think actually, since I'm right next to her, I think the best course of action is you two get back on the embankment and I'll carry Naomi.
Okay. You all right with that? Okay.
Are you okay, Naomi? Me carrying you?
Yeah. Do we I was thinking if I could grab my rope and maybe try to just get it around a tree, and then we could just haul ourselves out of here, you know?
Well, it'll be a lot easier on my shoulders. Get up.
Yeah. Let's do that. I think I've got a thing of rope in my
Okay.
pack, so I'm gonna tie it to the rang and try and go like around a tree trunk, and then when it comes back, it'll be like a two-way pulley situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're doing this after you get onto Iratran's shoulders or before?
After.
Okay. Let's get just a good old-fashioned athletics check out of the
Okay.
both of you.
Okay. All right. That's a 12.
That's a
Okay.
6.
Okay. Naomi, you start moving towards Iratran. You are sinking still, but it's happening a bit slower. You're now up to your chest. Chris and Argus, you can see this from the embankment. Naomi is now starting to slip down into the muck. When Iratran takes a long step forward to try and get to her and plunges down into what must be a sinkhole so that the muck rises up to his chin.
Oh God.
Iratran, you are slowly sinking into the muck. Naomi, you are feeling yourself join him as that whatever sinkhole it is starting to pull you in like a riptide.
How far are they away from me right now?
30 feet is what I'm thinking, because it'll be a full regular move.
Okay. Do you trust me?
I don't know if we have any options.
Are you holding each other yet?
They are not. They
No.
are probably 8 feet apart.
I have 50-foot rope. Would you like me to throw it out to them?
I have rope.
I have another idea. I'm gonna try and do this really fast. Oh, this is gonna be rough.
Whatever it is, do it quickly.
I'm gonna cast Thorn Whip on Iratran.
Okay.
The
Goody.
face wedding thing?
Up. It's a
roll.
17.
To hit. Iratran, your
Ow.
AC is 16. It wraps around your forehead as you start to sink underneath. That can pull people, right, Argus?
People 10 feet towards me.
Okay. Roll.
On my head. You're gonna pull
I
me
want
by my head.
an athletics check from you,
Sure,
Argus.
why not? It's an athletics, a strength check. Just says okay, straight. Wait, unless I have. No, my athletics is +1. Okay. It's a 4.
Okay, I'm not going to make you roll. It doesn't matter. I was not going to make you roll a disadvantage because you're using Thorn Whip. Instead of you being able to pull Iratran 10 feet, you are flung 10 feet out into the muck and land face first as Iratran is pulled under, and Argus starts to sink as well, and Naomi slips under. Triss, you are the only one on the bank. I'm going to address We're going to freeze into 3 of your consciousnesses this moment because we're going to address it. But I want to give Triss an opportunity to try one thing before we address what's happening in the mud.
Who's the furthest from me?
The furthest would be Iratran.
Iratran. I'm going to throw rope to him and hopefully he can grab it and I can stop pulling him and then he can grab the rest as I'm pulling him.
He is under the mud, as is
Oh.
Naomi, and Argus is sinking a bit faster because he's laying down.
Well, wait, okay, so August is, you said totally under, or not?
Iratran and Naomi both totally under. Argus kind of twang into the mud and belly flopped.
That's a good idea.
I think I will have to get August then, and hopefully he can recast his spell and not muck it up
All right, how would you like to do it?
with a rope.
All right, that'll just be a dexterity check to toss the item.
Okay. 12.
Argus, right before you go under, you see a rope plop into the mud about 3 feet from you. As Triss, you watch Argus join the other 3 in the mud. I'm going to describe the sensation to the 3 of you because it will apply to all of you. However, I will ask you individually some questions. As the mud closes over you, it is cold. Your journey through the swamp has been a bit humid and a bit hot, but this mud is cold and it doesn't feel like a nice, cool glass of water. There's something about this mud. And as it closes over you and you take as big of a breath as you can, and the world goes dark and the intense pressure of the mud starts to close in around you, you have a strange sensation, but one that has been romanticized in many forms. And you start to see pieces and parts of your life flashing before your eyes. What you can tell is that there's 2 opposing forces here, one of them seemingly outside of your control. That sadness, that despair you felt as you moved into the muck seems to be accelerating these moments of shame, regret, embarrassment that are just starting to flash before you, a truly dreadful thing to see before you might suffocate to death in the mud. But there is this glimmer, and you can tell that it is in your control to perhaps see something a bit brighter before you go. Iratran, what do you love?
I love the ocean. I have this book that my father gave me with a few chapters torn out at the end. I'm thinking about that.
Okay. As the image of your father and this book and the sound of the pages being torn from it flutter through your mind's eye, that assault of misery does slow. Argus, what do you love?
I see the image of a younger wood elf who looks just like me, who is standing above me as I sink down, going, I'm waiting. Come on, let's go. And I keep feeling to myself, I just go, in a minute, I'm getting there. Hold on. And he is standing next to another younger wood elf female, and they have a baby.
Okay. Naomi, what do you love?
I love music and storytelling. I love games. I love I have a big family. My brothers and sisters. I let them win sometimes, but usually not.
Everybody make, except for Triss, everybody make a wisdom save with advantage. please.
That's a 12 for me.
13 for me.
2 for me.
Triss, you have thrown this rope off and see Argus, the last of your new friends, sink into the muck. And then it is very silent in the
Harraskarn.
Harraskarn. You hear a flutter above you as that raven comes back around and sits on a low branch, eyeing the place where your friends just sunk hungrily. And then you see Argus's hand explode up out of the mud and grab your rope as he is now pulled free. And Naomi and Iratran follow shortly after, able to claw their way out. And with these thoughts in your mind of those things that you love, the mud is suddenly not so deep, not so cold, and not so able to make you forget the things that matter most. And Naomi, as you are all floundering towards the embankment, you do hear a voice in the trees above you say, "You passed the first test, but I don't have faith in you for the others." And the raven flutters away, and you all make it onto the embankment. And you do find that by holding these things dear and telling Triss what you learned, Triss, what do you love?
I love riding my horse Twilight all alone and leaving behind responsibility and expectations and titles, just being free.
While holding these things in your mind, you find that you are able to cross the sinking bogs of Harraskarn. It is not an easy trek. This did not erase the difficulty. And there are times when your focus slips and you find yourself plunging back into the muck. But by digging deep and focusing on the things that you love, you're able to combat this dark magic which seems to hang over these pits. And you push through until the ground beneath you becomes a little bit firmer and actually starts to change color. Your march falls into an odd rhythm. The sucking sounds as your boots leave the mulch find a harmony. You stop to grin at each other, but the mud sucking sound continues and grows and surrounds you from all sides like a filthy tsunami. What? Sorry, y'all. I just got really excited, so I just need a moment. This sound surrounds you all like a filthy tsunami. Stretched mouths and wretched yellow eyes gleam out from the twisted muck, and you recognize the color of the bogs that you've now entered. It is a clay similar to the stuff you saw pouring out of that fearful man's mouth. And these faces twist up and out of the muck with a lost hate that can only be extinguished with your lives. The very mud rises to form into humanoid shapes. And without encumbrance, they advance, their eyes burning yellow. Roll initiative.
Oh boy.
How many of them are there?
Right now, there are 3, but the bog around you seems to be in a bit of flux, as whatever it was that just animated these things seems to be aftershocking through it.
That's with the dex modifier?
Yes, ma'am.
21.
22.
All right.
23.
All right. Okay. Okay.
All right. Okay.
All right.
What was that, Argus?
9.
Ah!
I'm always the slow one anyways. It's fine.
Not like, you have to sit and enjoy your ale. It makes sense.
You always save the best for last.
I'm more
Exactly.
focused on the type of trees I have to lick.
Okay. You're all in a tight group. You are no longer in the sinking bogs, and you have found footing, though this is going to be difficult terrain. We're going to abstract the distance because these things are already pretty close to you, but you're slipping around in this clay, and the fog that's accumulating over it is this like sour yellow now, and the smell here is worse. It's sulfurous and just disgusting. The mud golems are approaching, and Iratran, it is your turn.
So if I do my cantrip, that's an action, right?
It is.
I think you. All right, I'm gonna just go ahead and chop off one of those humanoids' heads with my
All right.
scimitar. I'm thinking, but I'm still in like slushiness, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I just. Yeah. All right. I'm going for it. I'm jumping.
All right.
Yeah. It's
Roll to
sticky.
attack.
Oh,
I'm cheerleading you for the back of the order.
I knew it. I knew it. It's like the dice gods knew that I was in half mud because I just got a crit fail for a 1.
Oh, a natural
but
one.
I get my +7.
Oh, yeah.
I got
As you
8.
lunge forward to protect your friends, your hand, which is covered in clay, loses purchase on your scimitar, and it flings past the mud golems and starts to sink into the mud. You are still holding your short sword, but you will need to use the rest of your movement to stand up as you have now fallen into the sludge.
That was embarrassing. I mean, I can't really do anything. I have to stand up, right?
Yeah, you could get to them because they are advancing, and you will still have your second attack, but you are now sans saber.
I want my saber. I'll go ahead and pick myself up, dust myself off, and then try and do a little swipey swipe across the same guy, like humanoid, and
Okay.
stabby stab.
Roll to attack.
Stab. 26. I had to make it.
Yeah, there
Okay.
you go.
Roll for damage.
All right, short sword. 6.
Okay. So here's what's up. These things are not wearing armor. You have no trouble hitting this thing. You cleave off a section of the clay, which flings out and just disappears into the bog. But you see this large gouge, which you just cut, start to fill back up. It does not look like the creature is regenerating. It is just putting itself back together and does not seem to be too concerned. Which brings us to Triss.
I'm gonna look at these things and I'm look at their creepy yellow eyes and I'm gonna shoot out their eyes with my arrow.
Okay, roll to attack.
Nope. 12. What? Okay, yes.
12 is good. They are not wearing armor, so their AC is not great. Roll for damage.
6.
Are you attacking the same one as Iratran?
Attacking whatever one is the closest to us.
That would be the leader of the pack. They're in a triangle formation with the one in front, the one that Iratran just hit. Okay, you did 6 damage?
Yes.
Okay. The arrow plunges into its eye, and you see a fountain of clay explode out the back. And then the arrow just starts to slide down its face. It took damage, but they seem to be gross, gooey monsters. And the arrow is just starting to slide down.
Did he lose his eye at least?
Yes. And then it formed again.
The yellow eye formed again.
As they start to lose mass and then rebuild places, they are shrinking slightly. But with a wound like that, you could just see its head shrink to accommodate. And then the yellow burn sizzles out of its eye.
Okay.
Which brings us to Naomi.
Okay, if I wanted to do something with a rope that would require someone else on the other end of said rope, Can I combine with someone who's nearby that could help me out with that? Perhaps Argus, who has not gone yet, or
Yeah, so the way that I would do this is it will take your action and then you could set it up for Argus, or if
Yeah.
you want to use somebody that's already went, you could have them use their reaction to do it for you as well.
okay.
What do you have in
Okay.
mind? Just tell
Well,
me your end result here.
Yes. Okay. So you know how when you can cut clay with a wire.
Mm-hmm.
So if we rope all the cluster of these 3 guys and then in like a little loop, and then 2 people pull the loop tight, then maybe we'll just cut them right in half, right?
Okay. Argus, you want in on this?
Oh yeah, this is a great idea.
Okay. You and me, Argus, let's go.
Okay, Naomi, with advantage, you're going to roll. I think this is just acrobatics. You're
Okay.
lithe. You are mobile. You would be relying on your dexterity.
Okay. Oh, thank God for advantage. Okay. Okay, that's the 17.
Okay, that will work. So you see Naomi flip an end of a rope to Argus, who deftly catches it. Because this is just because you're just holding a rope, Argus, so this will just be an interact for you. You're still gonna get a turn. And then Naomi runs in a quick circle around these monsters and pulls the rope tight. Why don't you roll for damage there, Naomi? And it's just gonna be a D8.
Okay. 7.
Okay. Yeah, okay. What happens is you see the rope dig in and not quite cut all these things in half, but they do slap together, making them one tight knit. And as they start to try to repair their damage, their goo starts to coalesce over the rope, but also starts to blend in with each other. So that there's kind of pulling like snail trails off of each other as they're trying to undo, and they're having a hard time. Which brings us to the mud monsters. Sorry, Argus, you're a little slow on the draw. I'm going to do something. They are not going to attack this turn. They are going to spend their action to recombine. You watch as the mud monsters, which have been slapped together, start to swirl and blend into one another and grow in size, as the 3 mud monsters are now one giant-sized mud monster. The rope is still inside. It is wrapped around this creature's waist, and it is still there, Naomi. It did not cut them in half all the way, but it is still in them. And it uses a little bit of its movement to close the gap towards the person holding the rope. Argus, it is your turn.
Oh boy. Well, this is going to be exciting. I am going to, knowing that they can be split or that they are still made of water, I am going to cast Shape Water.
Okay.
Right, to pull water out of this enormous creature's one of its legs.
Okay. Shape Water doesn't require a roll, but this is an attack, so I do want to make it a little bit difficult for you because I do like what you're doing, and we have done this with clay before. Yeah, you can use Destroy Water instead of Create Water to use it against this creature.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll do that without encumbering myself in their presence. So I'm actually going to use the first level spell, Destroy Water, and pull up to 10 gallons of water out of this creature.
Okay.
Specifically, legs.
Tell me what it looks like when you cast this.
So, as when I cast Create Water, I kind of do basically almost a meditation pull, Tai Chi pull for the water to pull it from the elements, and the exact opposite motion is being done when I try to destroy water by pulling it away from something to remove it out and disperse it into the elements around.
Okay. As he lets this rip, you can see a line in the muck in front of you kind of carve through as water disperses, and this hits the golem right in the leg. And you can see what happened earlier. There's a moment that you feel, Argus. There's a resistance here. And then with this rip of black smoke, 10 gallons of water fall out of the back of this thing's leg, and its leg powders, cracking so it starts to fall. And it does fall forward. This is going to be... yeah, okay. Argus, roll damage. This will also be a D8. And there isn't one specified for Destroy Water, right?
No.
Yeah, do 2d8. I think that this is... do 2d8, because I feel like this is the right kind of spell for the right kind of moment.
Copy that. Well, first one's a 1. Oopsies. And second one is an 8. So
All right, and what is your... add your wisdom to that.
My wisdom, my spell.
Your wisdom modifier.
Ah, gotcha. My wisdom mod is a +4, so 13 total.
Okay, cool. So, when this happens, and the water blows out the back, and the leg powders, and this thing falls forward, it slams its fist into the ground to catch it. Everybody make a Dex saving throw. DC 11.
No!
21.
10.
Anybody else besides Argus fail?
There's a
21
dex
for me as
throw.
well.
I got a 7.
Okay, so Argus and Iratran, when the creature smashes the ground, an explosion of this clay blows everywhere. It's like a perfect circle. Naomi and Triss, you're able to duck out of the way, but Argus and Iratran, you are covered in this thick, sopping clay. You will be restrained until your next turn. Restrained means that your speed is 0, and any attacks that are incoming are made at advantage, and any attacks that are outgoing are made at disadvantage. But this thing is missing a leg. You can see that it's starting to try and reform it, and as it's doing that, mechanically speaking, it moves from giant size to large. It is now a bit smaller. The dried clay, which Argus just fucking nuked, is not responding to this, and it is lying inert on the ground. But that brings us back to the top of the order, and that would be Iratran.
All right. I'm going to bust out my hand axe and
Okay.
Put a green flame blade cantrip on it.
Okay. That is going to be your action, but it just happens, right? You just tell me what it looks like.
Basically, I summon. I just sort of focus in, and this green flame just sort of like starts sparking out of my fingertips and just encompasses the blade itself.
Okay, cool. That's going to count for your action, but you still have movement if you'd like it.
I'm going actually, but I'm encumbered. I don't think I can move, right?
You're restrained. Actually, yeah. So you are you are just wrapped up in some muck. But you do get to make another dexterity saving throw. DC 11.
Come on. 24.
You rip yourself free and cast green flame blade on the hand axe. And everyone else sees Iratran just hulking out of this sludge. Which brings us to Triss.
Oh. Well, what does sneak attack give me? Does it give me a bonus?
It'll give you advantage to hit and also some additional damage dice, which I think at level 1 is just an extra d6.
Well, it puts me in a bit of a pickle because I would like to get their attention away from my friends who are encumbered. And my damage doesn't. Well,
Your arrow hurt it.
it did hurt it.
It
Okay.
did hurt it. All of your attacks have hurt it, or all of your attacks have dealt damage. It does not seem to mind. It seems to be some kind of mindless beast. But even your arrow did damage.
All right. Then I will initiate my sneak attack and shoot it right in the bollocks with an arrow.
Okay.
Yo.
You're able to slip and slide through the muck around this creature, which is at this point trying desperately to get to Argus, who it now identifies as its biggest threat, and swing around behind it. You see just the hilt of Iratran's scimitar as the blade has now completely sunk into the muck. Your foot slides up against it to rest, and you are able to fire. You will hit. You will roll with advantage to attack.
All right. Let's see.
Hit it.
The highest was a 22.
That will do it. And you can roll 4 damage, and you get an additional d6 for sneak.
So 7 plus 12.
All right. Sweet.
Right in the
You-
bollocks.
You
Woo!
shoot it right in the bollocks.
Wanted
And
to say that for so long.
Yo.
even though the creature hasn't responded to many of the attacks, as it is reaching towards Argus, it does go. And the light in its eyes flutters for just a moment. It is not looking great, though it is still actively approaching the party. Naomi.
Yes. I'm sorry. Hang on. Okay. We're good. Sorry. I love when things get hit in the balls.
Don't we all?
Oh God.
Okay, what are we doing?
You've got a monster that just got hit in the balls.
Yeah.
And has shrunk down to a large size creature.
Yes.
Crawling towards Argus, desperately trying to destroy him.
Okay. So did we see the hilt of a scimitar sticking out of the mud? Did I see that? Did that?
Yeah, that's over by Triss.
Okay. Well, all right. Geez, I don't know. I guess I'll just jump onto his big freaking meaty forearm and try to chop his hand off with my boomerang.
Okay. Roll to attack.
Okay. All right. That's an 11. Is that modified? That's an 11.
11 will hit, but just barely. Roll for damage.
Okay. Oh, geez. That's a 4.
Okay. You start hacking away at this beast's forearm to try and remove it. And you can see little slimes of clay falling apart. This does catch its attention. It is the mud monster's turn next. And it turns to you, Naomi,
Oh, God.
and opens its mouth. And if there was a jaw, it would unhinge because this thing opens its mouth wider and wider and wider.
Oh, God. Hate that.
I need you to make a DC 11 dexterity saving throw.
Okie dokie. Okay. That's a 7.
Was it?
Right?
What did you roll?
A 2.
Okay, you're lucky. You're lucky. From out of the mouth of the mud monster, a torrential downpour of clay explodes, completely coating you, Naomi. You will be restrained. And I don't think anybody else is within 5 feet. You will be able to make a new save on your next turn. But If you do not, because you are so close to it, you will start to take subdual damage as you begin to suffocate. You are completely submerged in this stuff. Which brings us to Argus.
Yes. Okay. How far away is it from me right now?
It's been advancing towards you, so I'd say well within your range of movement.
Well, within my range of movement. Okay. Am I able to draw my short bow?
You are. You're able to draw a weapon as part of an attack.
Sweet. I'm gonna take a shot at its yellow eyeballs.
Fire away.
With disadvantage, too, as a matter of fact. Nat 20, though.
Damn, you're getting robbed. With disadvantage, you still rolled a crit?
Oh, no, I thought that Nat 20 disregarded a disadvantage.
Oh, no. You're it's actually worse because
Nat
you're
20
robbed
again.
of it. Are you
Twice.
fucking with me?
You can check the board. Nat 20 again.
All right, roll double damage, my man. Damn.
Check the board on it, guys. Seriously.
You know what? You know how hard that is to do?
11 points of damage.
That's pretty. I'm going to give you triple damage because I hate you. Because you just rolled a double crit on a disadvantage. I'm going to give you triple damage. Roll one more of your dice.
You're very lucky because I rolled 2 1s and a 3. So it's a total of 12 points of damage.
That's still okay. Argus, you fire the 12 points of damage into this thing. The arrow pierces its yellow eye. You can see Triss's arrow sinking down towards its chest. The eye actually pops and an explosion of clay pulls off of its head and it stumbles a little bit. It is still up, but it is rapidly shrinking in size. Which brings us to
curdling scream and and I believe I have to roll a strength check, I think.
Oh, you get to do a dexterity check to see if you can escape the restraint.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Come on, Dexy Dex. Here we go. It's an 11.
That meets it, beats it. You, in your scream of triumph, tear out of the muck. Very Iratran-like in your movements.
I'm invincible!
I'm gonna say that I think we're talking about Alan Cummings from GoldenEye, right? I'm there with you, baby.
Excellent.
I'm there with you. Iratran, it is your turn.
Oh, nice. All right. Well, I got my flaming hand axe, which I'm super excited for, because I'm gonna throw it all tomahawk style at that thing's head.
Do it.
Doing it. 8.
That is not going to do it. Triss, as you're looking down at Iratran's scimitar, grabbing for another one of your arrows, you see flaming green axe fly past your head. Iratran, you do have another attack with the short sword if you'd like.
I'm embarrassed. I threw my scimitar, flaming axe is flying. All right.
One of the trees in the back, you can just see its outline in the yellow mist, just explodes in green flames. Roll for your second attack.
All right, short sword. Let's go. Going choppy choppy. Thank you. 25. I'm needing.
Okay, that'll hit. Roll damage.
I needed that so long ago. 9.
Okay. That is a pretty solid hit. You carve out another large part of this thing, and when that part fills in, the creature has now turned back into a regular-sized mud monster. You can see behind it, as it's been clawing, just this trail of debris that you guys have been hacking out of it. Triss, it is your turn.
I would like to shoot it in its second bollocks.
Fire away. You also get to shoot with advantage because you are still flanking and it is still engaged with your friends.
22.
Okay, that hits. Roll for damage.
All right. Did you say I get advantage for damage? Or
You
I get a
an
second
additional D6 for damage. That's part of your sneak attack.
one? Damage was 14. I exploded it.
The arrow in sweet, sweet bullet time leaves Triss's bow and is flying through the air. I think this is happening as Iratran is like throwing the axe and blowing up the tree and slicing it with his short sword, and Argus is screaming and shooting arrows, and Naomi's fighting for her life in this. She looks like a little mud monster clawing up out of the mud. This arrow pierces the mud monster's second bollocks and travels through its body, splitting it in half. The mud monster's form collapses back into the ground as the arrow sticks into the tree next to you, Argus, and you can see a single mud bollocks suspended there for a moment before it too liquefies. And as you're all standing there, breathing deep, the sweet, sweet smell of decaying victory in your second trial of Harraskarn Swamp, you do hear a flutter in the trees as your raven friend returned and says, "All right, I'm impressed." Blackout.
Oh my
Oh.
Things got real messy real fast.
Oh, you guys, I'm so sorry I made a mud Voltron. It was really not my intention.
It was a Buddy Morphin Power Ranger.
I'm so...
It's a
No,
it's a thing.
how dare you?
Oh, I guess that is
Get
true.
out.
I don't like
I'll
puns
see
for the
myself
most
out.
part.
Yeah,
David.
be gone. Oh.
There's a thing that a friend of mine, when he's running games, does. I think it's built into D&D 5e to make bosses more interesting, and I'll talk about my little voice in the sky here as introducing it for certain encounters. It's called a legendary action, in which a monster can move outside of its turn, usually to do things, and not all of it involves damage. But to me, like, yeah, you tying those suckers together, they're gonna combine.
Yeah. No, that was great. Don't get me wrong. I just immediately realized my mistake. I was like, oh God.
I think if you'd rolled higher, I would have cut them in half.
Okay.
Right? Like you can add at those things.
And then we could make him into like a nice little ashtray or something.
Yeah. Yeah, a pinch
Yeah.
pot. Oh no.
It's made of like mud golem.
It says mom in the middle of it.
That's
All right, I think the mud golem pinch pot's what we're gonna go out on.
Mom golem.
I just want to say thanks to, well, I think just thanks a lot, especially with all that action at the beginning, with all those subs and all of this new fun stuff. I just want to say thanks everybody for watching. I had a really great time tonight, and thanks all of you, my friends who are playing with me. That was really great.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks,
a
everybody.
blast.
I'm just hearing now that next week the croissant will be available as a emote for tier 1 subs. But just help us spread the word. Hit up social media, hit that follow button, subscribe, please. We love doing this and we want to keep doing it. And so I'd
Yes,
love
we
if you're
do.
there to see us do it. Join us on social media. I think we're going to have a Discord soon. Trick your players into awakening undead mud monsters who want to be Voltroned and then had their bollocks shut off. And until next time, I'm your evil DM, Jesse Keeter, saying, are you in?